nice out here. Maybe I should.
Okay. So yes, we're going live on YouTube now with a discussion about Ontario Place. The future. There's three key issues about water and politics. One is future of Ontario Place. The other is water quality combined sewer outfall. And the third issue is access to beach space. So for example, if this place is being redeveloped, where do we swim in the meantime? Access, like foot access to Toronto Island through the tunnel. Can there be a right of way from the airport down to Hanlon's, a little walkway on the surface? So you can go through the airport tunnel and walk or bicycle to Hanlon's, or is it possible to make East Island have beach access? Swimming is very important to us. We have a swim OP, Swim at Ontario Place. We have about 1,100 members. We formed the group originally because security guards told us we're not allowed to swim here, and we felt that it was outside their jurisdiction because the lake is not part of Ontario. So it's like me trying to tell my neighbors that they can't swim on their property by putting a sign on my property. So the sign on Ontario Place, it's still up there, it says no swimming, but we don't feel that it should be imposed upon property that they don't own, because the lake isn't owned by anyone or shouldn't be owned by anybody. And this is the cleanest beach in all of Toronto. It has the lowest E. coli count. Sometimes it gets down to like 1.8. Yesterday it was about 9 out of 100. Like, it's very low. It's the cleanest beach in all of Toronto. It's also crystal clear. The water is crystal clear. You can see right to the bottom. Yesterday I swam way out to where it was 20 or 30 feet deep, and I posted that video on YouTube. You can see all the way to the bottom. So this is like a real gem here in this abandoned amusement park. And I looked at the proposal for the redevelopment, and they showed a steel wall across here, just like paving over this beach, and then putting another little sandy beach over there by the combined sewer outfall next to the Gardner. But you see, a little toy beach. This is a beautiful beach because it's south-facing. It's in this weird microclimate that's super warm, even in the winter. The sun comes in here. It's this beautiful little enclave. It's a little nook that heats up in the sun, and it's a beautiful natural phenomenon. There's no sand, there's no grit, there's no grime, there's no dirt, and therefore the water's crystal clear. You can see right to the bottom. And those of us who wear these sort of seeing aid or computer vision system or whatever appreciate the lack of sand, so it doesn't damage our equipment. You know, a single grain of sand will damage a smartphone. So just having a sand-free environment is beautiful because it's clear. We made a music video underwater. Dan Bowman here and Monique Barry made a beautiful music video in the water, and we've shot lots of great videos in the water, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And so I'm a professor at University of Toronto. I'm a Canadian born. I live here in Toronto with my wife and 2 children. A short walk from here. I run or bicycle here every day to swim year round, summer or winter. Every day that's safe to do so anyway. And for us, it's very important that we have clear access to the water, to clear swimming water. And this is downtown Toronto's only beach, really, in some sense. And I do research on technologies like cyborg technologies, wearable computers, computer vision systems, water, sensing water, human-computer interaction, and that sort of thing. And I studied at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and then went to Stanford University. So I spent the time on the East Coast and the West Coast of the United States and learned how things are done here as compared to Canada. And we're trying to make Canada into this technological epicenter of water. What I realized is that Ontario is water capital of the world. We have the world's largest lake. And we also have the world's largest freshwater supply. And we have, 80% of North America's freshwater and 21% of the world's freshwater supply. Ontario is definitely water capital of the world. Toronto is capital of Ontario, and Ontario Place is really where all of the water is centered. If water is the new oil, or water is this precious entity, this island is like like Jerusalem, like the city of David in the middle of the desert, with this spring water that comes up and become the most sought after and fought after piece of land in human history, just because of a little bit of water coming into it. And so this is our only access to clean water. Down there on Sunnyside, it's stinky and dirty and sandy. I don't like to swim at Cherry Beach either because it's sandy and dirty and cloudy. And maybe the E. coli count's not too bad. It's not as clean as here, but it's still within safe limits. But from a visibility point of view, the water's cloudy, and I like to swim in clear water. So this is our favorite place to swim, and we want to guard it and preserve it and prevent it from being taken away from us. And so everybody had their point. I think I want to start with I want to start with a point that Darren Atkinson made about Tiny Beaches Association, and they're forcing access to the beach. Because what happens here often is they close off the island. So Rolling Loud, they had a big concert there, and they rented the parking lot. And because they rented the parking lot, they closed 50 acres of parkland. But we still swam here. So we swam across the West Channel and around that buoy over there and around to this side of the island. But then the security guards came initially to tell us that we're not allowed to be here on this beach, even though we accessed it from the water. And then finally, I think maybe they realized that they were on the wrong side of the law. They finally conceded that, yes, we can be here, but as long as we stay here. So I think we kind of won that battle, and we only won these battles because we stuck together as a group. So why don't we have each person speak briefly? We got, so Derek, or Darren, do you want to give us a brief, start with the tiny beaches? And
all that I could add is that within the water's edge, it's legally the right-of-way for the public everywhere in Ontario. And as a precedent, if you go up to Nottawasaga Bay, you're going to find that the tiny township and its residents that own property on the beach have tried to claim ownership right down to the water and even in the water. One of the flashpoints was Bomb Beach. People built fences right into the water. People also cut through them with chainsaws, and they fought down there, but you look at that another day. Legally, you're entitled to walk along the shoreline. That's all I'll say today. They cannot deny you that right, unless there's some safety issue, like it's a boat channel, and I don't see any ships here, do you? So that's all I'll say.
Excellent. So Chloe, why don't you say a few words?
Okay. So, hi, my name is Chloe Brown. I am a candidate for mayor, and I'm running on a platform of restoring democracy for the working class. And what that means is looking at spaces like this and ensuring that there's a democratic process that is ensured so that everyone gets access to the beach and opportunities that surround it. In terms of Ontario Place, my plan is to outmaneuver Doug Ford. At this point, a lot of us should be very clear that Doug Ford is not a champion of Toronto, so the best that we can do is outmaneuver him by using the policies at our disposal, such as zoning reforms, to change the parking lots at the CNE, to reduce the amount of parking space available to those who would use that space and make it more pedestrian friendly and cyclist friendly. We can also leverage partnerships with some of the industry groups to make the CNE a better space, and in return they could also give us access to the beach 24/7, 365. And this is something that I would like people to give more thought to, because the province is a beast of its own, but like Steve said, if we all work together, we can actually outmaneuver and beat the province to make sure that democracy is given to all of us instead of a few. And that is my platform.
Hallelujah, 24 access, because we came here to watch the lunar eclipse, which happened at midnight. And at 11 p.m., Ontario Place security guards came down with about a dozen police and searchlights shining in her face and said, "You must go right now." And I said, "Can I have a few minutes to turn on my lights on my paddleboard so I can paddle home safely?" And they said no. They put my life at risk by forcing me off the beach, which I think was illegal, because according to Darren, I should have been able to stay on the top 4
omission,
feet.
they didn't tell you. You're allowed to be within the water's edge.
So I could stay there as long as I want and get my lights fixed so that I can safely paddle home. I had to paddle in the dark because they wouldn't let me take the time to get my lighting equipment started up.
Well, this is where it's important that the province just doesn't use the police for their political agenda. If the police don't fully understand the laws that govern the beach, they're going to enforce unfair policies. The beach is for everyone, and it's up to us, especially at the mayor's office, to make sure that the laws are clear and they work in favor of the people, especially in a time where they need access to green space, fresh air, clean water. So yeah, as the mayor, it would be my job to enforce that good policy is made for people and not against them.
Excellent, that's fantastic. Sarah.
Hi, everyone. First of all, I think I'm so glad to hear Darren and Chloe both talking about really important things that we can do to make this space what it is, to keep it what it is, to enhance it. And I want everyone to just remember that we're in Toronto right now. We keep talking about Ontario Place and what Ontario can have the power over. And as long as we remember, this is part of Toronto. The mayor has a say. The council has a say. We can protect this beach. We don't have to throw up our hands and say it's in the province's hands. So all the strategies that Chloe mentioned about how to outmaneuver, how to find our way, those are all critically important. And what I want to say, I guess, to the people who are watching is, come on out here and swim. Join these advocacy groups. Get the more people who care about this. It's not just a council candidate or mayoral candidate, and one or two people speaking who the province and the city can easily ignore. When you have a crowd of people who are out here and loving this beach and swimming in the water, we've got pressure now to keep the water clean because people are going to get sick if it's not clean. We have pressure to keep the waterfront open because if you have a security guard, they can't come and hassle one person. They're going to be talking to 100 people. And we have pressure to keep this space public. A private company doesn't want to have their reputation smeared. If there are 100 people, 500 people, 1,000 people using this beach, speaking up for this beach, speaking up for the waterfront, no, what private company wants to be seen as being against those people, being against the people of Toronto? So I just encourage us all to really embrace this as our own beach. It's part of Toronto. Our waterfront is precious. We talk about protecting it, and we can do it. And the more of us that are involved, the more that can happen. So thank you, Steve, for organizing this, and thanks to all the candidates who care about this too.
Yes, Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob Hatton from Hatton.ca. It's great to be here. Beautiful day in Ontario Place. This park was closed about 10 years ago because ostensibly because of lack of attendance. Now, since then, there's been a lot of development in Toronto. There must be 100 to 200,000 new residents living just within a few kilometers of this place. The population of the GTA is double what it was in 1971. The reason that attendance is declining in this wonderful space is because there's no access. We have an Ontario line that stops at the north end of the CNE. We need a way to bring people here, and then this jewel of a park will be appreciated, and it's needed by the people of Toronto and the GTA. Thanks for hosting this, Steve.
Excellent. So we got some very, very, very good points.
And we've got a council candidate too here. I don't know
Oh,
if there's
yes.
anyone else.
Yes.
I'm Steph Salterman. I'm running for City Council for Ward 10, Spadina Fort York, and I actually swim at this beach as well, so I wanted to come down and see what you were talking about and see how we can protect it. I know that there's some issues that are going to be tabled in 2023 actually about this, so I'm hoping to be on the council to vote the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. So in summary, if I were to summarize all the points raised, there exists under law right to access this 24 hours a day by the water. If you're on the beach, no matter how you got here, no matter how you got here, you have a right to access this part of the beach here, no matter what, because that's lawfully not theirs. It doesn't belong to the private corporation of Ontario Place or whatever private corporation says that it owns this park here. And the second thing is 24-hour access, right of way. That was an important thing, and also just general access. So we've kind of established that this is public property. It's not owned by anyone, and just no matter whether this is Ontario Corporation or this corporation or that corporation, no matter what government or corporation, government is corporate government, or corporation, which is a government corporation. No matter what weird blend of governments and corporations this place is, it's a fact that this is public property no matter what, and that there should be public right of way to it. The next issue that's really important is also water quality and combined sewer outfall. What can we do to improve the water quality of the lake? This beach is Toronto's cleanest beach. It's the best beach in all of Toronto. We should preserve access to it, and moreover, we should take steps to solve combined sewer outfall, reduce combined sewer outfall. What can we do to mitigate or eliminate CSO? So I don't know if anybody wants to speak to that issue. Should we just do a second round? Okay,
I didn't hear that bit.
CSO, combined sewer outfall, keeping the water clean, water quality. This is the cleanest beach in all of Toronto. What can we do to keep it that way and to also generally make sure that the CSO is managed? Because what's happened recently is that there was CSO. There were things coming out, condoms and tampons and everything visibly coming out of this combined sewer outfall. It was obviously a CSO leak. And so we tried to talk to the city and they didn't do anything. Not until it was on social media. Until it was posted on social media, nothing was done to fix the leak. Once it hit social media and went viral, then the leak got fixed. The problem got fixed. So what can we do to apply pressure? Do we have to post things on social media? Do we need to go around with my paddleboard and various sensing metering apparatus? I build all kinds of apparatus on the board. I've got the hydraulophone, the underwater pipe organ. We use the sound quality of the instrument as a measure of water quality. We can come up with creative ways to sense and determine and measure water phenomena and shame the city into fixing it. Or is there a more direct route? Is there somebody who can step up to the plate proactively and actually seek out to fix it without having to wait till it gets so bad that we have to pound them on social media? Maybe you want to start answering that issue.
Well, obviously the city would have to make up its mind to do that, but I can tell you immediately, you could go to the marinas around here. We're surrounded by marinas, and very little is done to ever check the quality of outboard engines and the pollution that comes off all these small boats. And you should know some people live on them all year long. So when you start to collectively look at all the marinas around here, that's actually going to be pollution that's not even accounted for. So just go for a walk. Yeah, paddling around with your paddle boat would be good, and then documenting the kind of oil and whatnot that's getting in the water and garbage from ships, small boats. It's actually probably not even, there's no data on it, probably it's invisible. The city would have to actually step up with money, but they're picking and choosing where they spend their money, aren't they? So are they going to spend money down here? What do you think? I don't think they will.
I think there's a long-term...
Unless there's change with councillors or someone as mayor, one of us. Because Tory's not going to do anything. This is small, he's not interested.
We need somebody else other than Tory to take a step up to the plate. Chloe, what do you have to say about that?
So in terms of funding, this is where outmaneuvering the province comes in, because if you had a partner group like the Therm Spa come in, you leverage annually that they put money in a water innovation fund so that we have a pool of money available for those who want to take on this work. Secondly, it's also about water education. Being 31, I'm old enough to remember Walkerton. I don't know if anyone else remembers.
Yeah, we all do.
So it's like, learning that water could get contaminated in the urban city was a big eye-opening experience for me. I don't know if a lot of urban kids have that experience anymore, because a lot of the time we don't even bring them down to the water. So working as mayor, working with TDSB, you can start creating water awareness in young people by creating trips for them to come here seasonally. Because I can speak as a kid that grew up in Islington and Finch. No one ever brought me to the lakeshore. This is a gem, and no one thinks about the fact that so many young people don't get to come here because of whatever biases you grew up with in terms of public water. And this is not only just an urban thing, it's a cultural thing. My parents are Jamaican, and I will say they're kind of beach snobs. And the idea of coming to a Canadian beach is something that's very foreign to them, because it's not something that's promoted to people that look like me. So it starts with us as a community coming together and just bringing people to the beach and letting them know this is safe. This is somewhere that you can enjoy, and it's free. You don't have to pay to go to a hotel and swim in their pool. This is free, and it's for us. And it's the mayor's job to let people know, like, this is yours. So as mayor, I make it my responsibility to educate and also create access to water year round, because a lot of people don't know that this is theirs.
Excellent. Beautiful. Sarah.
Okay, Sarah Climenhaga again. So first of all, I want to say that two mayoral candidates both just had two amazing ideas. One about checking in with the marinas, monitoring the quality, working with the marinas to improve it. Another idea of getting schools involved, getting kids here, getting people, different populations of Toronto down to the water. And to me, it shows the amazing things that can happen when we involve all of us in Toronto, when we don't exclude people from decision making around water or anything else. We can do so much more when it comes to our waterfront. And I think the more people, again, that are involved with the waterfront, the more wonderful ideas we'll have to improve access, to improve water quality, and absolutely the political will has to come to have it as a priority. So I think we see water at the city kind of as an enemy. Oh no, it's going to cause basement flooding. Oh, the storm sewers. Oh, that we have to channel it away. We have to move it here. We have to move it there. You know, we're not embracing it. We see the water as our ally. So we look at what are all the ways we can improve water quality, and that includes different kinds of green infrastructure, and you know, where can we encourage wetlands, and where can we encourage small scale things all over the place to naturally filter our water. So I think the political will to embrace water, even looking at our streets, do we need to have water gushing to the storm sewers? Are there areas that we could do plantings? You know, we can go outside the box and look at what we can do all over our city to treat water as an ally so that it ends up clean in the lake instead of ending up dirty, and then we have to filter it out for our drinking water. So increasing that connection between residents and the water, and increasing the connection between residents and decision makers.
All right, Rob.
Great. Well, a lot of great ideas, but I've worked with the folks at Toronto Water, and they've done a great job, really. We have, I think, 7 blue flag beaches in Toronto, great opportunities for people to access the lake, and internationally high standards for water quality on those beaches. But there is still a lot that needs to be done. Particularly if you're aware of, you drive down Bayview or near Ashbridges Bay, you'll note huge amounts of construction. They're building a massive storage tunnel in the Don Valley to deal with sewage overflow that would go to Ashbridges Bay. What they aren't doing and haven't scheduled yet is a fix for all the overflow that goes into the Toronto Harbor. Now, when I was there, I tried to get them to work perhaps with Infrastructure Canada to find a way, but ultimately the city has the capacity to borrow the money to advance the schedule of that work. Money has been really cheap. Unfortunately, it's getting a little more expensive now, but they can do it if they have the right leadership. They haven't, and that's why we're all here.
Hallelujah. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to get a group picture of everyone. So what I was going to do, I got a watermelon, and what I'll do is I'll give everyone a slice of watermelon, and then we'll all stand in a circle and I'll do a panoramic shot, you know, just a classic beach, and then we'll all jump into the lake. Or those who want to participate jump in the lake. And so
One more thing about the island.
oh yeah, I think we kind of discussed that. Did anybody have anything they want to add regarding, say, access from the island? Like we mentioned that briefly.
I was.
Yeah. So the lease is expiring soon, and that gives us another piece of land to leverage with against the province.
Excellent.
There's actually a lot of leases expiring, even at the CNE. That nightclub that's over there, that lease is expiring, and Doug Ford championed to extend it during his time at office. So the opportunity here is really to take stake of what lands that we have to leverage the province into creating dedicated funding and also infrastructure for us. In terms of the island, it's like the waterfront LRT is something that we could be leveraging if we were strategically looking at Doug and seeing like, hey, what is it that you want from us, and what is it that you can give to us for coming to the table with you? And when it comes to Billy Bishop Airport, there's a lot of opportunity there once that lease expires to make something for all of us and to make it accessible.
Excellent.
And I think that's where we start. Let the lease expire and let the people decide.
Beautiful. Yes. Anything else to add?
Sure. You know, it's all about leadership. We have a new federal conservative leader who proposes to turn the island airport into a jet-based airport. We're fighting that fight once again. We have a Premier of Ontario who proposes to build a massive indoor water park at the water's edge. I mean, you can just go swimming, right, Steve? So, you know, it takes vigilance. It takes people being engaged, and we've succeeded in the past. We've had great victories. We need to stay on top of this and make sure that these public spaces remain in public hands and for the benefit of the people who live around here, not the corporations that are, let's say, influencing our political leadership today. HattonForMayor.ca.
Excellent. Yes. Anything else?
Surely someone over there has something to say as far as side, you guys.
I'll just add, you know, when it comes to the Toronto Island, just like this beach, Toronto Island is a total gem. We appreciate it and know about it a little more than we know about this beach, but even so, Toronto Island is a bit of a miracle that we have this oasis. No cars, free public access to the entire island except for the airport, and we have a ferry system that, you know, there was just a big crash, the ferry was down for a few days. We need to really look at access and how can we improve access to the island so that we can all get there easily. And so again, it's involving the island residents themselves, it's involving people who already go to the island, it's involving engineers, it's involving people who know the ferry system, it's involving people who want to talk about, you know, access to Porter and how that can be integrated to access to the island. So there's a lot of opportunity to really capitalize on how wonderful the Toronto Islands are and make it a world-class tourist destination for people outside of Toronto. And that means because of what it has, not because of adding in some kind of a Ferris wheel or something, but the gem that it is. And also making it a world-class destination for Torontonians from all over the city.
Absolutely, yeah. Basically, Toronto Island, Toronto Island is, you know, like for those of us who want to access it without using fossil fuel or inducing the consumption of fossil fuel, we want to access it cleanly and naturally. Either we want to swim there or paddle there or something, which is nice. But it would be really nice, especially in the winter when it's really cold. In the ice, we could still swim in the winter, short swims around here. But if this island is being disrupted by some kind of construction, we need another place to swim and that's clean. And the only other place I can think of is Toronto Island. And we'd want to be able to get there without having to swim through 0-degree water about a mile. In other words, could it be possible to have a pedestrian access to the island, given that there's already a tunnel? Just as a fun little joke, about 6 of us put on our bathing suits. We ran to the airport island with nothing in but our bathing suits, no shoes, no shirts. We ran in through the tunnel and out into the airport, and we just started walking around asking people, how do we get to the beach?
Excellent.
And so we were on the Toronto Island looking for a swim, but we're asking a really simple question that like a child might ask, how do I get to the beach?
Yeah.
I want to walk down to the beach right now. Could we make a little 3-foot wide right-of-way access to the beach?
Beautiful,
I
love
think
it.
you could. I just think everybody here is into this. I think we know that. But Chicago is the role model. I mean, really, we're just on the other side of the border. In fact, if you've ever been there, the waterfront is what makes the city. And it has all kinds of different attractions for people. So I know everyone here supports the same things I do. So I think collectively we've got to stick together and push hard.
And didn't Chicago just shut down their city center airport?
The mayor had it bulldozed.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Chicago's a good
without a
trip.
permit.
And Steve, we have one more candidate to speak on this issue.
Yes.
Council candidate.
I just wanted to say, actually, it's not the most popular statement, but I actually do support keeping Billy Bishop in airport, so I just didn't want me saying nothing to mislead anybody into thinking that I had the same opinion there. I do think we can have good conversations and good negotiations around what we get in exchange for them having use of that land that could support environmental initiatives, but I just didn't want to mislead anybody.
Yeah,
by
that's
not saying
fantastic.
anything.
You know, I think it makes sense to keep the airport. Like one of my students, when he was 13 years old, got a summer job so that he could get flight lessons, and he took them at Billy Bishop at the age of 14.
That's
Did his
awesome.
first solo flight when he was 14 years old. And it was a great learning experience for him. What we really need maybe is a really heavy noise tax on the jets so that it reduces the number a little bit, and then use that money to build, or somehow, you know, shrink the airport just a little bit so that there's enough capacity to make a pedestrian walkway from the airport down to Hanlon's Beach, which is a really short run. It's just all we need is a little short 3-foot wide walkway.
Yeah. I've got Farron Malik running for mayor.
Oh, come on over, Farron. So super awesome to see you. Big round of applause here for Farron.
Welcome for everybody.
Welcome.
For all the candidates who come and have a
Yes,
great
all
idea.
5 mayoral candidates have arrived.
Hi, my name is Darren Malik, and I'm running as mayor candidate for the city of Toronto. I'm a network engineer, plus I am a PMP holder. I have done lots of projects in IT, and this makes me a very good candidate to be mayor of Toronto. And as per the water quality, if the water quality of the lake is bad, you cannot like swim inside. The E. coli that's in there, it's harmful for your body and it's not safe. The amount of E. coli that or any bacteria or viruses that should be in the lake should be less than 100 ppm, which is parts per million, and this makes the lake safer to swim. Second thing, like we need to make our Ontario Place more suitable for visitors. We need to expand the space. We need to have more parking space. Right now, like I had to wait for almost like 45 minutes to get parking. We need lots of parking space for lots of cars which come in at the Ontario Place for the events or for the games. And that's about it. If you feel I'm the right candidate, please vote for me. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. So now let's get a group shot. Oh, excellent. Yes. So we're talking about this beach and how to save the beach. You know, you saw the 3 questions that we're trying to raise.
Yeah.
And we're streaming live YouTube.
Are you going in?
Okay.
Well, not in
yeah,
this
so
field.
yeah,
I have
like,
another meeting to go
in terms
to.
of like construction that you're trying to do for the Ontario Place, like, that's something I don't agree with. I think we should keep the Ontario Place as it is and be able to just expand on like the green spaces in the Ontario Place and then keep Billy Bishop like wherever it is right now on the other side, which is currently on the other side where Harbourfront is.
Yeah. Cool. That's excellent. Beautiful. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get a group shot of everyone. So what I was going to do is, in the spirit of summer, give everyone a slice of watermelon, and then we'll try to get a group picture. A summertime watermelon shot. It's such a beautiful day. So I wonder if we should...
Yeah, thank you, Steve, for doing this.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for getting the 5 mayoral candidates down to the beach. Six. We had 6 in the end.
6 mayoral candidates.
And thank you to the mayoral candidates for coming. Appreciate you all being here.
Here, so that I can put it on YouTube.
This is already on YouTube. This is YouTube Live. We're broadcasting from TeachBeach.
You can all stick around for a group shot. That would be fantastic for a group picture.
Hi there. Hi there.
City councillors here as well. Welcome.
Everybody.
Thank you for coming.
Vote for Soaad.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Hashtags for my campaign. My name is Soaad. You have a long name too, so I do vote for that. Yeah.
I'm going to step in the water.
I know.
You know how to stop the recording, Dan?
No, I don't know.
My hashtag name is...
That's Steve.
Nobody knows about this. Sorry.
It can only be people you have copying it, so to me you just come up with the hashtag. If you have a lot of people who are going to use it, then it's worth
Grab yourself a slice of watermelon or take this one up there.
big up there and then you have to... I should like it. Did you go for swimming, Steve?